So today I'm here to tell you a little bit about my experience while I was reading these two books. So come with me. So hello guys. If you don't know me yet, my name is Kathleen. I'm a Brazilian book lover. Like I love books, and I have a channel in which I talk about books for about 2 years, but it's a Portuguese channel. I talk only in Portuguese in that other channel, and I use my other surname. And in this channel, I only talk in English. So let's go to the books, okay? But before I start, I need to tell you guys one thing. These books talk about anxiety and fear. So if these topics are topics that you don't like listening about, that it's triggering for you, or that causes you anxiety or fear, so please don't watch this video. I will be posting videos about other books, about everything that I'm reading, and about my book habit, like my reading habits. So don't worry if these topics are not comfortable for you to hear or talk about, don't watch it. But if you're okay with it, let's talk about it. So first I will talk about this cute little book. This book is actually a comic book. I will open here and show you guys up close. See, like all the pages are like drawings and the speeches. So this book actually, I have the Portuguese version here, but the name of the book in English is Guts. The author is Raina Telgemeier. This is what Google told me the name sounds like. I had to Google it because this last name is not very common for like non-native speakers to hear, so I've never seen this last name before, so I Googled it. So it told me that I should say Telgemeier, but I'm sorry if it's not. So Guts, this book is about a teenager or preteen, and she has a very specific fear, and she is very fearful of vomiting. So it starts with the letter V. You can check it out, like here they already say it, so it's not like a spoiler or anything. And the book is very descriptive and at the same time very light-hearted about the topic. It shows how she started having the symptoms of fear and how she started having the anxiety attacks because of her fear, and also how she and her parents started dealing with the problem, because her parents were very good about it and soon looked for psychologists to take her. And this book is for teens or preteens, but for me it was very informative, and I also loved the images. This topic is a topic that I'm dealing with like constantly in my life, because I also have a very specific fear. Of course, my fear is not about vomiting. I have this very specific fear about lightning and thunder, like when there is a thunderstorm. The problem for me is that Brazil, like the region, the specific area in Brazil that I live, like my city and other two cities here, are the places on earth that are one of the highest, these three cities here in Brazil is a region in the world with the highest level of thunder and lightning. Like I think we are like top 3 or top 5 in the world regarding lightning and thunder. So this causes me a lot of anxiety and panic attacks, mainly during the summer, because here in the summer we have thunderstorms every day between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Like we have this window, like almost the end of the afternoon and the beginning of the evening, like or not at night. We have crazy thunderstorms with many lightnings and many like thunders. Of course, the lightning causes the thunder, so if you have one, you have the other. I'm just like saying like crazy things right now, and just rambling, but the thing is, I have this specific fear and it's very hard for me to deal with it, mainly when it's summer, and I have been on like therapy for it for like about 3 years now. But because of the pandemic, I had to stop my group therapy, so I stopped it for 1 year and it was not good. I mean, things got really bad because I was not going to therapy for 1 year because like we couldn't be in a group for 1 year. So now I decided to start private therapy, like 101 with a psychologist. I'm doing it through like the internet. I'm not going there, of course, because of the pandemic. So like I do it online. I do my sessions online. And now things are getting better. Like I'm getting less anxiety, and also I'm here in Brazil and now it's winter. So no rain and no storms, which is heaven for me. Like this time of the year is so good for me, like anxiety wise, because I can just relax. But the reason why I'm rambling about it, it's because I want to explain to you guys why I decided to buy this book. In Portuguese, they didn't translate with the literal translation of guts, even though guts can also mean, like, as a slang, courage. Like you have to have the guts to do something, in Portuguese we don't really have a slang for guts with the meaning of courage, so they translated using the word courage, like coragem. This is the word courage in Portuguese, but I understand that it is also one possible translation of guts in from English to Portuguese. And I bought it because I really need a lot of courage in my life. Like I need to have guts now because I'm just so tired of having fear of like storms and things. So this is why I bought it, even though I knew it was not like a book for adults. I knew it was for like teens or kids, but the way that Raina explained everything here, I really think if you are an adult, you should get it too. See, here is the way she portrays the main character's first panic attack or anxiety attack because she was imagining she could vomit. And as someone who has a specific fear, I totally get this girl because most of the time my problem is not actually the fear but the anxiety before the fear, because I get anxiety just thinking about the possibility of being afraid of the storm. So she got an anxiety attack because she heard that someone vomited and ate something that she ate too, and then she started going to this cycle of anxiety because there was the possibility of maybe or might vomiting too. And I get there, and the author was just brilliant portraying this here. And also like the author just portrayed here her first therapy session, which is totally like how mine was. It's just like she asked, what is going on? Can you tell me? Like, can you tell me what is going on? And then she started like, and then she started going through this like anxiety phase before answering. And then you just say like, I don't know, because sometimes when you start therapy with a new psychologist, it's not like you are super comfortable talking about everything. Like I'm not just going to talk about everything that goes in my mind to the psychologist at the first. Like that's impossible. Like you don't even know the other person. So yeah, you just say like, yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, I have this fear, but you don't really explain very well. So I just think that for a book that is meant for teenagers, it's really good. Like the descriptions and the way that Raina portrays the anxiety attacks and going to a psychologist and then fearing that people will discover. I didn't have that because I don't really care if people will care if I go to a psychologist or not, but for teens I think that is an important information. So just showing here in the book that it's okay, and then at the end she tells her friends, like, oh, I have this big secret, I go to therapy. And they were like, but that's not a secret, like, I go to therapy too. And then the other girl said, oh, my mother goes to therapy too. So I mean, it was very natural for her friends, so she thought that they would hate her or bully her because of it, but it was just like, oh, okay, like, we all do it too, so don't worry. So yes, I totally recommend the book. Actually, again, the name is Guts in English, but it's this author here. And since I was reading about this topic, I was also reading this book here that my psychologist told me, like, oh, I have this book here, would you like to read it? And I said, like, okay, just send me. And it's terrible because I printed it in my house. The name is Anxious Minds, Fear and Anxiety Beyond Limits. This book is by a Brazilian author. Her name is Ana Beatriz Barbosa Silva. I will write it here for you guys. I don't know if it was translated to English, but since we were talking about this topic, I need to mention it because this book is really good. Because I've read before books about fear and anxiety, but they were just a bunch of, I don't know, people like psychologists who were lecturing people and then just wrote a bunch of, like, I think this, I think that, I think that, but nothing was really based on science. So I just didn't like the other books. A lot of the books about anxiety nowadays are just trying to give you like miracle things, miracle cures, and miracle ending of your anxiety, and talking about it like it was this disease that everybody in the modern technological world has. But no, I mean, a lot of people have anxiety to some point, and a lot of people have some sort of fear, but that doesn't mean that everybody is sick, you know. It doesn't mean that you have like a psychological problem because of it. But I think that some of the books are a little bit crazy, like they are not really based on scientific research and analysis. And but what I liked about this book is that this book is actually based on science. It actually talks about the science, like what happens in your brain when you have fear. Why do humans are afraid of things? Because actually the problem with having a specific fear, or you know, like me, is that it's impossible to just end fear. Because I mean, for of years, humans as a species, we evolved to having this alert system in our brain. Like, this is what the book explains. You have this alert system in your brain that if something that that might kill you happens, for example, a tiger is going to attack you, like something happens to your brain, and then you get adrenaline and a lot of other hormones going on that make you feel fear, and then save yourself, like do something to save yourself. This happens because like thousands of years ago we lived in like the wild. So in the past, like when I talk about the past in this scenario, is like a long time ago when we lived in caves. Like, it was necessary for humans to evolve and have these sort of hormones going on and things going on in our brain to save ourselves from real danger. So we didn't evolve now to completely ignore it. For example, if you're going to cross the street, you need to at least have a little bit of fear, like not fear, but you need to pay attention to the cars to avoid just like crossing the street and being run over. That's why we have fear nowadays. Like, you need to think before acting in some cases. Like, you're not going to just put your hands in, I don't know, a crocodile mouth. Like, you have to have fear in these situations, not to do stuff, it's like stupid things and get yourself killed. That's why we have, I don't know, the book calls it like healthy fear, like balanced fear, normal fear is okay. Like, everybody has some sort of fear, because this is how your brain hinders you from killing yourself. Because if you don't have any percentage of fear in your body, you're just going to go and do crazy stuff all the time. So it's more of a safety system that we have, like that our brain produces to stop us from damaging or hurting ourselves. The problem in my case and in some people's case is that when that is not balanced, uh, it goes crazy, like when we have a problem with fear and anxiety, because you're like, the problem in my case, I cannot talk about every anxious person out there, but in my case, my problem is fear, and then with the fear I have the anxiety. And the book talks brilliantly about it, because most of the times, according to the book, it is connected. So in my case, I have a specific fear which is not rational. That's the problem. My brain, which was supposed to, help me keep myself alive and only be afraid of like super dangerous and rationally dangerous things, is not balanced. I mean, it's not like I have a problem in my brain, but psychologically speaking, I really think that I might die when it rains. And it's very hard not to think I'm gonna die when it's like the thunder or the lightning is very close to my house, because I live around the forest, and it makes things harder, because a lot of the times when the storms really like above my city, the lightnings, like, they strike here, like here in my neighborhoods, which is super scary for me. And I mean, so the thing is, it's not balanced for me. Like, fear regarding storms is not balanced, because scientifically speaking, it's almost impossible for me in my house, like a modern 5-year-old apartment. Like, these apartments new, like I was the first person to live here. It is like 5-year-old like building, so all the electric system is new. We have like a lot of safety electric equipment in my neighborhood. I live in a gated neighborhood, so it's safer. And it's like a 5-year-old neighborhood. Like, I actually bought the apartment before it was built, and I moved here 4 years ago after I got married. So in a new building with all the safety that I know, rationally, I know that we have here in my apartment and in my neighborhood, I know rationally that it's impossible to like being struck by a lightning inside the apartment. And I also know that nothing's gonna actually happen to my TV or my computer, because nowadays with technology we have a lot of equipment to make it safe for electronic, like make it safe. I don't know if it's the correct word to say in English about electronics, but you get me, guys. um Rationally speaking, nothing's gonna happen to me or any of the electronics or the things in my house, because it's a new place and all the safety equipment was installed. So even though I rationally know that, it doesn't mean that I don't fear it, because my fear is not a rational fear. And yeah, that's why therapy is there, and that's why this book was important to me too, because I could understand the biological side of my fear, and also read a lot about how to decrease the level of fear and decrease the level of anxiety. Even though, like, my told me, and the book also told about it, like, it's impossible to end 100% of fear. At the end of this book, they talk about like how changing your diet can help decrease the levels of anxiety, how exposing yourself sometimes to the fear with supervision from a professional and guidance from a professional can help you, and how exercising can help you. Like, the book talks scientifically about many possibilities that can help you decrease your fear and your anxiety. It doesn't give you magical like solutions, which for me is important because I like scientific stuff and rational stuff, and like, it needs to make sense. It cannot be like, drink this tea and you will magically be cured. Like, that doesn't exist. So yes, I really loved both of these books, and I have to do like a disclaimer, like a copyright disclaimer. The reason why I printed this book is like, it's written here and it's in Portuguese, but this book is copyright free or royalty free. It is available online for anybody in Portuguese, and there is a disclaimer here telling it that. So that's the reason why I printed it. Like, I didn't actually, like, stole from the author. The author just made it available because the author is a psychologist and she wanted to get the information out there. Even though she also sells the book, but the PDF is online and is royalty free, so no copyright infringements in there. So that's it. Like, I really recommend both of these books. I don't know if it's going to be possible to get The Anxious Minds in English, but Guts is a really good book, mainly if you have like a kid or a teenager who is suffering from anxiety or fear. I really recommend. And yeah, thank you for watching up to now. I know I just talked a lot, but I usually talk a lot about books, so I hope you guys could stay with me until the end. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and we are going to talk more about books and literature and my experiences and things related to it on next videos. Bye!